Welcome to Talk with Tara, the podcast where we dive into the bold, the funny, and the fascinating. I'm Tara, your host, bringing you unfiltered conversations on life, love, and everything in between. Hit that follow button so you're always in the loop. And now let's get started. I am so excited. I think I have a girl crush on Susan Bratton, and I'm so excited to have her. Today, I want to tell you a little bit about Susan. She is a champion and advocate for all those who desire ageless intimacy. She is a best-selling author and a publisher of 44 books and programs, and she's been featured on over 1,000 podcasts and TV shows, including Diary of a CEO, You Are Not Broken, Sex with Emily, The Human Upgrade with Dave Asprey, and so many more. You need to check her out and all the different topics that she hits. Her books and interviews have helped millions to take control of their sexual joy. And her message, it resonates across gender and age because it's rooted in agency, body literacy, and connection. I find Susan so bold and honest and vulnerable and kind and really an advocate for helping people find pleasure, sexual pleasure, and confidence within themselves. And having her today is really going to be an amazing conversation because we're not going to just talk about sex. We're going to talk about something that I've noticed in my midlife and many of you women who are in my audience, and that is the power of our level of attraction. So when we were young, being attractive meant we were wanted. We would either withhold or we'd give access to sex. And that is kind of how we gauged how we mattered. We'd walk into a room and heads would turn, and we're transitioning. Our kids are flying the coop. We've decided that our marriages are no longer viable. They're sexless for some of us. And we're finding ourselves out there in the dating pool again. And sex with a new person for the first time in 20 years can be really just challenging and scary. And so first thing I want to ask you, Susan, I want to talk about how we are just changing and how do we become these new midlife women?
Yeah, I think there's two things in my mind going on simultaneously. One is a letting go of feeling like we need to be a specific thing and moving more into just being exactly who we are in every moment. There's three things that I teach as intimacy expert to millions. One is techniques, pleasuring techniques, orgasm skills, how to hold and be held, hot kissing, oral pleasuring, orgasmic intercourse, mutually, massively orgasmic intercourse, things like that, and are very much not just female focused, but humanity connected. They are as pleasurable for our male bodied partners as they are for us. And so
Right.
we don't even know, like most women say to me, I don't even know what I want. I just know what I'm getting isn't it. And I think men think that what they're getting is it, but they actually crave so much more. When we think about masculine, feminine polarity instead of partnership, and that we all have all of the masculine and feminine in us at various times in various ways, and that we should be living fully into all of that in partnership. That's where we're headed. So I teach the pleasuring techniques, but I also teach communication skills, bedroom communication skills. And I teach intimate wellness because ultimately sex is good for you. And because sex is good for you, the longer you can keep having highly orgasmic, pleasurable sex, not sex that's just do it for your partner, not sex that doesn't make you feel strong, confident, passionate, full of vitality, grounded, really great about yourself. The kind of good sex, you have to be able to take care of your genitals so that you can keep having good sex. I think that's really important too. So those three pillars are what you need to kind of expand, both the skill sets, the communication, and the intimate health. And in the communication, it really is the underpinning, the foundation to everything that you can do to grow sexually over time. The number one kind of the laminate, the subflooring of the communication stack that everything rests on is knowing what you want and being able to ask for it. And what most people don't understand is that every day is a different day, every moment is a different moment, and our bodies are very subject to the vagaries of our sleep and our food and our stress levels and all of these things, as well as for women, especially our moon cycles, even after menopause. It's not just because we stop menstruating doesn't mean our hormones don't continue to cycle, they do. And so
Right.
when you begin, most women are like, I don't know what I want. I just know what I'm getting isn't it. And that's the gap I want to fill in today with you is let me give you some things to try on. I'm going to tell you the things that I do because
Mm-hmm.
I like to serve as a model of possibility, but I'm not a model of here's how you should do it. I'm a model of I see her doing some things and I would change them a little bit, but I'm going to steal this idea. I'm going to steal this idea. I'm going to modify this and I'm going to add this one on now that I see what she's doing. That's what I'm to give you here is more structured approach to how you can begin to own your sexuality, become agentic, have agency, and keep learning. You are an intelligent being that can continue to expand. I want to say what that second thing is. I want to finish that off. And then let's get into what are the things and how does it go? What do you do and how can you how can you
How do you feel
blossom
sexy?
into
Yeah. How do you feel
yeah, how do you
sexy
feel
at this
sexy?
age? Because, we're told like younger is better. And I don't want somebody to say, oh, Tara's good for her age. I want to be good for any age. And I wonder,
Yep.
is that just idealistic of me?
I am having the best time of my life, the best sex of my life. I love how I look. I love how I feel. I love the people in my life. I mean, I
Right.
am one of my most popular books I wrote of those 44 books and programs is a little book called Relationship Magic. And I
Mhm.
had to write that book because I needed a relationship book that wasn't about hot sex because I wanted to do I've done like I've been on television so many times. I've been on so many morning talk shows and things like that over the years, but they don't want to talk about sex on morning talk shows. And so I
Right.
wrote a relationship book. And it's
Hmm.
essentially a book that helps you unearth what it is that you want most out of your relationship so that you can explain that to a prospective partner or your existing partner and make
Hmm.
it really easy for them to do the things that really make you happy in a relationship with them
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
a totally different person than you are. And
Yes.
then they can do this little workbook and figure out what it is that they want and you can get up every day and just give them those things. And it really makes couples feel like they're in the perfect relationship because it gets a lot of clarity to what you desire. And it's
Yeah.
called your top it comes what it basically does is it helps you come up with your top 4 relationship values.
Hmm.
And what I've learned over many years is that it's very important as you mature. People who listen to your show, Tara, they are growth mindset people. There are
Hmm.
people who are
Yeah.
stuck. They've gelled
Right.
into exactly who they are and they are that person and they will never change. Your
Yeah.
listeners are not that. They're not on the rocks in ice stuck.
Right.
They're moving through their maturation, their expansion, their growth mindset, their learning, etc, processing their experiences, doing the work, becoming stronger, becoming more confident. And
Absolutely.
when you move through life looking for your values matches, do they vote like you?
Hmm.
Do they hold the same values you do around, confidence and gender expression and any and everything, faith or whatever it might be, whatever it is that's important to you, finding the people
Health,
who have
the
the
way,
values match,
longevity,
health,
health,
longevity,
yeah. Hmm.
exactly,
Yeah.
mindset, yeah,
Yeah.
all of these things, everything, little things, vaccinations, augmented
Hmm.
reality, AI, sex tech, whatever it might be.
Yep.
And the more that you find people who are similar to you in values, both in relationships that are love relationships and friendship relationships, you can stay friends with everybody you've ever been friends with, but you don't have to spend your time with them. You can
Yeah.
cultivate a group of people who really you vibe with the
Yeah.
way they live their life. And a lot of people they struggle to make friends. It's one of the
Hmm.
hardest things that people do. And you have to
Yeah,
keep making new friends that match your values. Spend time with the people who
absolutely.
lift you up and are offering you opening and growth. So
Yep.
that's, I think, it sounds, when I say it, you're like, yeah, of course. But honestly,
I've done it.
saying it
I've
and
done it.
doing
So,
it are different, right?
yep. Tell me how you, because a lot of women struggle with this, loving your butt, loving your boobs, loving your
Yeah.
cellulite, loving the changes, loving that wrinkle. Like,
hmm
how do we love ourselves fully?
When you really like who you are, you attract the people who like who you are. And then you feel
Yes. Yeah.
really even more confident because you can trust that they love you for who you are. This is one of the reasons why you want to just be who you are. How can somebody love you fully? How can you ever know your love if you aren't who you really are? The people who keep showing up because they love that you, who you really are your real friends.
Yeah.
So the thing about confidence is it's the gift that you give to others to love you fully.
What about the body image? Like the,
Yeah, the body
feeling
image.
comfortable. Yeah, you get up out of
hmm
bed and you're worried, oh, I don't want him to see my butt.
Some
Hmm.
of us might have really horrible body image issues because we're not in good health. And so body image does really
Hmm.
start with the fuel you burn, the movement you take, the sleep you get, the stress load you're under. And so the first step in working on your body image issues are dealing with those factors of health and longevity. And the more every day
Hmm.
that you get up and you fuel yourself better, every day that you get up and you've eaten well, you've slept well, you've tried to manage your stress, you're you're working on your body image issue. You're working on
Yeah.
on essentially your image, who you show up. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really important piece of this is that it doesn't start with, hey, you look fine. It
Right.
starts with how are you treating yourself? Because you can't fix the externalities until you work on the internal part of it. The second
Hmm.
thing is that generally we're partnered with men. So I'm going to speak about this in a male female pair bond, but
Right.
it's
Hmm.
really the same across the spectrum of gender expression. And that is that we all live in a meat suit. And that meat suit is just our external package. You
Hmm.
got dark hair, so did I, mine's dyed. I'm tall, you might be shorter, you might be
Hmm.
thinner, I might be fatter, you might be have A cups, I might have D cups. It doesn't matter what we have, it's just our package. And
Right.
so somebody is going to love how we look. When we find a partner, they chose us because they like our vibe, they like our look, they like our squishy parts, they like however it is we look. And
Yeah.
so we have to begin to trust that we're lovable. So I think a lot of body image issue comes from being hard on ourselves, and you want to move out of being you want to be an uncontrolled, completely agentic, sexually self-expressed, sovereign woman who kicks ass, has confidence, is like basically running on the energy of orgasmic pleasure. When you
Yes.
are that woman, the world is bright and express, and you could be 150 pounds, you could be 250 pounds. If you love who you are and your partner loves who you are, it doesn't really matter if because you know how a lot of women who have body image issues they like to have sex with the lights out
Yeah.
because they
Hmm.
don't want to see or be seen. They don't want to be seen.
Right.
Okay, start with the lights out and dissolve into pleasure, dissolve into ecstatic bliss. Let go of any worry because they can't see you. So just relax. Let your
Yeah.
boobies flop into your armpits. Let your
Yeah.
ass look fat. Just take
Right.
your
Just be. Hmm.
pleasure. And
Yeah.
then as you become more sexually self-confident because you've had some great sexual experiences in the dark, now try a little like maybe like a cupless chignon, like a little baby doll thing with no panties on that's cupless. So now your partner
Yeah.
can go down on you, play with your boobs. if you don't like your boobs, play with them more. They literally look prettier when they're all engorged, they're full of blood. You know what? And you wanted to ask me, what if you don't like your partner's kissing, right? That's always a
Yes, that
tricky
was one of
one
my
too.
questions. Yeah. And how do you
Yeah.
tell, how do you communicate? How do you communicate what you may not like without hurting
Yes.
someone's feelings?
Yeah. So the really the best, what all psychotherapists will teach you is like the corrective sandwich, which is basically I love being close to you and I love our sex life. But sometimes our kissing, I would like to try some different styles, but I don't want you to feel bad because we're always learning together and I love how growth mindset you are in bed. Like, I
I
just told
like
you I
that.
don't like your kissing without telling you I don't like your
Yes. Yeah,
kissing.
I
I mean,
like
it was a
that.
way,
That's a
an
really good
opening of
tip.
possibility. And then you could do something like, I really want you to kiss my eyelids and my forehead and my cheeks and my neck and my breasts and my nipples and my body and my yoni. I want you to kiss my whole body, not just like kiss me and kind of like dart your tongue in and out of my mouth.
Right.
I want you to
Right.
kiss my lips. I want you to slide your lips back and forth on mine. I want you to just kiss me gently and then
Hmm.
kiss me other places. I don't want to kiss for long times. I want to kiss, but not this one certain way. I want to have more ways of kissing. I want to kiss you instead of you kissing me, and I want you to follow along with the kind of kissing that I would like to have.
You should be a fiction writer.
I am a writer of, you know what I do? I write erotic play dates. That's what my newsletter is. I don't think you get my newsletter, but that's what I do.
No, but this
I
is
write
so
all kinds of
good.
erotic play dates. Yeah. It's at
Yeah, you're such a,
betterlover.com.
yeah, okay, betterlover.com because
Yeah.
I was listening to a woman on Peter Attia, an OBGYN, and she was saying that women love reading erotica
Yeah, they
versus
do.
watching porn. And I
Yeah.
was just thinking when you were describing that this would be just a best-selling book.
I should write
Um,
50 Shades of Rainbow.
yeah, yeah, you should. You would be excellent. Yeah. So that was a really good description. I mean, if I said that to my partner, he would just be
Yes.
so excited. He
They
would
want to make
love
us
what you just
happy.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to win. They want to do a good job and they want to be respected. That's what they're in it for. They need that because they grew up in a pecking order and they don't want to be down. They don't want to fail. So that's
Okay, so that
why,
was one of my
yeah,
questions. Let's
yeah,
talk about what
go
men
ahead.
women want to know, what men
Hmm.
really want. And we want to
Hmm.
know
Yes,
like the Cleopatras or these women that were like,
yeah.
how did Lauren Sanchez get Jeff Bezos? Like, what does she
Hmm.
have that Jennifer Aniston may not have or someone else? I mean,
Hmm.
there's certain women that are these like men slayers, and I don't know, but I'm just always wondering, like, what do they have that the average woman doesn't have? Can you give us some tips and
Yes,
tricks?
yes. So different men like different things, of course. It's always a spectrum, but here's generally the thing that men want. They want to be your hero. They want to do a great
Yeah.
job. They want to be deeply respected by you. So you have to set them up to win
Hmm.
at all times, help them win. They just want to love you. They want to give you everything you want. They want you to be happy.
Hmm.
So you need to be happy for them. You need to let them know they're making you happy. They need auditory compliments and acknowledgments
Mm,
of their excellence. You need to say to them, I'm so proud of you because you did this. I love that you did this. I'm in awe of you for this skill. I love how you took care of that. You were so nice when you did that thing. These are the things. Thank you for taking care of the whatever. It's just really noticing their contributions and how great
hmm.
they are. You know,
Yeah.
that saying behind every great man is a great woman. It's true, but behind every great
Hmm.
woman's a great man. And
Yeah.
when you really support a guy in living up to his potential and showing him what he's capable of, and encouraging him to be his best man, he will step up. He wants to be your knight in shining armor. And they are
Mm-hmm.
so precious and so capable and so good and so loving that it's a
Yeah.
real joy to be that for them. They deserve that of us
Yeah.
equally.
Yeah.
They
Those
need
are
to
really good
know,
tips.
they need to know what you want because they can't win if they can't give it to you. And so you have
Okay.
to tell them what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And the the things that make it really nice in bed are things like a lot of times they really like you to wear lingerie, even if it's just to get started, because it's a signal of your desire for them. They know you're in the mood. They know they're not
Mm-hmm.
forcing themselves on you, and they know that you feel pretty and desirable. So
That's a good
lingerie
tip.
is, I mean, my husband loves it when I wear lingerie, and I don't like to wear it
Mm-hmm.
because it's so scratchy and it gets in the way. But I will wear it and then I will take it off, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
I will start with my silly little shoes I can barely hobble around in. I just mostly wear in bed. I don't wear them out of the
Mm-hmm.
house, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
something, as comfortable as I get, like a couple strings is literally enough. Some thigh highs is, and a
Yeah.
pair of sexy heels that I can take off is enough for him. It makes a
Mm-hmm.
big difference to a lot of guys. They really like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one thing. Second thing is running them a menu of ideas or asking them to run you a menu of ideas. This comes from the work of Dr. Patty Taylor, who is one of my biggest mentors. I publish her work and I carry on her lineages. And Patty wrote a book, a series for me, audiobook, ebook series for me called The Seduction Trilogy, which basically teaches partners how to run a menu of small offers rather than making the big ask of sex. Because when you say sex, you mean intercourse. And
Mm-hmm.
intercourse, we're not ready for that until we're turned on. Men have
Right.
testosterone. They're walking around with a boner. They're horny. They're available 24/7 for us. That's great. We're really lucky
Mm-hmm.
that they are the horn dogs that they are. They carry the torch of
Yes.
desire, and they kind of lay in wait for us to be ready for them. And so we need to lower their agitation, their horniness, and their neediness for connection, affection, release, orgasms by being really straightforward with them about our desires. I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
have a date with you later. I'll meet you in the bedroom. I'm wearing lingerie. Be showered, shaved, groomed, ready. Bring in a pitcher of water. Help me get the room ready and we'll see
Yeah.
what we feel like doing. Then you show up there because you're going to
Right.
get turned on. You're not going to start turned on. It just doesn't work like that in our bodies very often. Like maybe
Mm-hmm.
during an ovulation period or with a new partner, new relationship, but on a regular day to day dude and his lady situation, we are
Yeah.
just not running around dying to be railed. Some
Right.
women are, some lucky
Yeah.
women are, but not most of us. It's the
Uh-huh.
spontaneous versus responsive desire model of Dr.
Right.
Beverly Sasson, right? Which was
Mm-hmm.
really a helpful model for so much of it. Oh, okay, so there's nothing wrong with this because we don't have the response of a male body, right? Nope, there's nothing wrong
Right.
with you. This is totally normal. When you get to the bedroom, and you hit the bed, everything's set up. You got your lubes, you got your toys, you got the lighting is nice, you got your sexy music on, you got your pitcher of water, you got a stack of fresh towels. Now you just lay down together,
Mm-hmm.
hold and be held, let go of your day, get out of your head, just say anything you need to say, check in with each other, get connected, be in the same place together. Don't expect that it's like you're going to just be ready to be penetrated. You're not. You're so
Right.
far from that. And the
Yeah.
expectation of you thinking you should be like that is false. It's just that's just like we're just there to be you know penetrated to procreate, like that's where that
Mm-hmm.
came from, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so
Absolutely.
then it's like, well, what are you in the mood for? Well, I think I need a foot rub or I need a neck rub.
Mm-hmm.
Something hurts. Get rid of the things that hurt. Get some pain cream. Rub it on. Take a minute till you get in your body, you get in your heart, right? You remember, oh yeah, I do love this guy. Oh yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
do love to be close to him, right? You need that.
Right.
And then what do you feel like doing? Wow, I'd like a yoni massage. I'd like to go down on you. I'd like to try a new sex position. I'd like to try out this vibrator. I'd like to kiss my one of my here's my two favorite things I like to start sex with. I like to start sex with a yoni massage. And I've used the word yoni quite a few times. It's a Sanskrit word. It's used in tantric lovemaking. And it's really an overall term for the female genital system. And
Mm-hmm.
very common in Marin, where you and I are from.
Yeah.
But I radiate the word because I call it my favorite four-letter word, Y-O-N-I, yoni. And
Mm-hmm.
what it really means is the female genital system, not just the vagina, which again
Mm-hmm.
harks to patriarchy for me. Like all you are is the place where I put my penis. Like it doesn't include
Right.
what? My labia, my clitoral shaft, my clitoral tip, my mons, like all the things that feel good to me. And
Yes.
so yoni it's all encompassing. It's all of my erectile tissue, my clitoral structures, my labial structures, my mons, my sweet little cheeks, my groin muscles, my inner labia, my vestibule, the entrance to my vagina, my G spot, my deep spot, my cervical spot, my entire vaginal cavern, everything. It's like that plus the spiritual heart center of my universe. It's the blossoming of my lotus flower. It's the blooming
Mm-hmm.
of my genitals. It's the blood flow. It's all that stuff. And so I love yoni. So a lot of times I like to
Yeah.
start with my partner giving me a yoni massage. I simply receive. He gives me pleasure. It allows me to get into my body, get the blood flowing to my
Mm-hmm.
genitals because my partner can get erect, go soft, get erect, go soft, get erect, go soft throughout a 2 or 3 hour lovemaking date. And that
Oh,
doesn't
I've never
stress him
thought
out at
about that.
all.
That's
Women feel
interesting. Yeah.
pressured to have intercourse because he has a
Yeah.
hard on. And I'm like,
That's
dude, just
true.
get hard again, go soft. You'll get
That's
hard again. I
true.
know how to get you hard,
Yeah.
right? No, you don't want to do that
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
ready until your
Yeah.
yoni is like, give it to me,
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
she's like there.
Exactly.
She's not
Yeah.
ready. Right? So until
Yeah.
she's like,
That's a
I
good point.
gotta have it.
Yeah.
That's where you want her. You don't want her like, okay, I'm being penetrated too soon over and over and over and over again. So you don't want to have sex with him anymore. And it's not
Right.
his fault. This is all we see in the movies. She
Yes.
throws her down, he throws her down on the bed and he pulls her top off. She's still got her bra and he didn't touch
Yes.
her nipples. Like this, it perpetuates breast shame. Like
Yes.
there's a triumvirate of pleasure. There's a triumvirate pleasure system. Your mouth, lips, tongue, throat, neck, face, all this. Your breast, nipples, sternum, chest, all this. Your yoni, mons, labia, clitoris, G spot, that vagina, anus, another structure. They're all connected. They're one system. They work in lockstep. So if you're not even
Well,
touching
yeah.
boobs, you're literally not getting the level of engorgement that you need to get your lady boner. And guys don't want to
Yeah.
have sex with a flaccid penis. Why would we have any kind of intercourse or anything with a flaccid clitoris? Our clitorises
Yeah.
get
That's a
big
really
and
good,
meaty and
yeah.
full and they
That's a good
pop out.
point. Yeah.
So I love yoni massages where I just
Mm-hmm.
receive, I get out of my head and into my body. I get turned on. I wait for my body to get turned on. I just wait for her. I'm very patient with her. And so is my husband. Very
Mm-hmm.
patient with me. He knows sometimes it takes me longer, sometimes it takes me shorter, and he's just in it to win it. And so he's just doing what I want. Sometimes I want stronger massage, sometimes I want light touch. Sometimes I start light, want it stronger, start stronger, want it lighter. He just, I just communicate what feels good. He just gives me
And
what
you
I need
communicate. Yeah. You
the whole
communicate
time.
then. You let them know,
Yeah,
oh, I
the whole
like this, or yeah, I
time.
want that
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
very sexy way.
Yes, whatever it
Yeah.
takes. And he's open. He wants, for him, because he's a very well trained lover, he's a mastery level lover, obviously. He
Yes.
knows that everything I say to him is just feedback to do an even better job be my
Yeah.
champion. It's not
Yeah.
failure. He didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong. How could he know? We're different every day. Our
Right.
bodies are different every day.
Right.
Every day. Every
I have
moment.
a question about women having an orgasm through oral sex. It says that
Yeah.
80% of women are able to have an orgasm. I mean, that's the statistic that I've read. But for those 20% who can't, is it that they can't, or they just haven't tried long enough, like what you're saying? Or could it be the different kind of pressure on their clitoris that's not creating oral orgasm versus when they're like on top, like that song, she only comes when she's on top because she has control. Um, why is it that the 20% of these, I mean, it seems like it's pretty easy for 80% of the women. What's wrong with the other
That
20%
number's
that they
wrong.
can't?
The number's wrong. 3% every
Oh,
woman
wow.
can. And it is a combination of comfort with yourself, overcoming shame, removing the obstacle, the mental obstacles and roadblock. Does he like me? Do I taste okay? Like all, he loves you. He loves your vulva. He wants it. You taste great. He'll tell you if something's off. So that free flow of conversation, that it's called the sexual soulmate pact. I don't think I gave you that
Okay.
URL. If
Yes.
you can put
Let me
this in the
see if
show
I
notes,
have that.
sexual soulmate pact, PACT.com, is
Okay.
how to have effortless conversation, how to know what you want and ask for it, and have your partner love you asking them, because it's that information they need to do the job that they want to do to be the winner they are dying to be for you. And
Okay. I
sexual
love that.
soulmate pact.com. You can print it out.
Sexual soulmate pact,
Soulmate.
PACT.com.
That's it. And
Yep.
you can
Okay.
both read it and then you practice it and you get good at it together. And then pretty soon you're on your next. The thing about sex techniques is if you're like, oh, I want to learn oral techniques. Oh, I want to learn
Yeah.
orgasmic intercourse. Oh, I want to learn breast play. Oh, I want to learn kissing. Whatever you want to learn, you can enter into that at any time. It's like this ball that has a million facets on it, like the eye of a fly that has a million
Right.
facets. Have you ever seen that macro of an eye of
Yes.
a fly
Yes.
that has all
Yes.
those facets? That's sex. You can enter
Yeah.
in through any door and you can go in any order. Communication is a stair step. It's an ascension model. You start with the sexual soulmate pact. Once you get that and you've got clear communication in the bedroom, then you can add all the next things, like sharing frames, sharing fantasies. Uh, there's a whole list of them. So I don't want to get into all of them because I know we need to bring this to a close, but I think that's an important aspect of it is when we go back to the very first thing that I said, the three pillars of a sex life that keeps
Mm-hmm.
getting hotter. Techniques, knowing what you're going for, trying new things, expanding your sensation palette, your skills, your confidence. Communication, the ascension model, start with the sexual soulmate pact. There's always more. Sex never runs out. And then the third
Yeah.
thing is intimate wellness. If there's anything that doesn't feel good, broken, wrong, lubrication, incontinence, erectile dysfunction, loss of sensation, odors, smells, pains, whatever, those we can attend to as well. There's solutions for all of that as well.
Yeah.
Gains
Well,
wave treatments, penis pumps, etc.
before we head off, what about women? Like I have friends who were in a sexless marriage, and then they said, "Oh, and now I'm out of my marriage, and it hurts to have sex. I'm in my 50s, late 50s, and it hurts, and it feels tight, and I have pain. I don't even want to have sex." Like, is that? Well, I'm on HRT, but
Hmm.
is that an HRT thing? Like they just need the vaginal HRT, estradiol to help with that? Like that's a big hindrance for women. That scares me when I hear things like, "Oh, it's so dry," or it's sandpaper. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be awful. um, is that just an HRT in your experience solution from what you've studied?
Not just, here's the stat. These are all of the synergistic things that work together to reverse genital atrophy in women. And that everything you
Okay.
described is genital atrophy. So
Oh,
atrophy is
okay.
basically shrinkage, loss of blood flow, loss of
Yeah.
innervation, loss of capillaries, etc. So everything that I mentioned, all those problems and all the things you mentioned. It's number one, blood flow. You need blood flow to make all of your genital structures work and not be painful and lubricate. You lose
Okay.
lubrication not because of loss of estrogen, but because of loss of blood flow to the pelvic bowl, which
Oh.
is why warm ups and arousal and all my little like stroke is cockily, plays with your boobs, or get a yoni massage, why we need
Oh,
that, especially as
interesting.
we age.
Yeah.
A nitric oxide supplement. I'll send you my nitric oxide supplement. It's called Flow
Okay.
Nitric Oxide Booster. Mine is a food derived, organic fruit and vegetable derived nitric oxide booster. By the time we're 50, we have half the nitric oxide production we had at 20. So it's a very, I always consider it to be my multivitamins, my D, my A, my K, my minerals, my vitamin and mineral, my omega fatty acids, and my nitric
Yeah.
oxide supplementation. I also take ALA, quercetin, and maybe one other thing, but that's my stack. You need the blood flow to get the pelvic bowl full of blood because your vagina is not a gland. It's not self-lubricating. The blood plasma seeps through the vaginal mucosal lining. And when the lining is thin, think about a little sponge versus a thick sponge. Thick sponge
Mm-hmm.
can hold a lot of lubrication. A little thin sponge can't. The estrogen thickens the vaginal mucosal tissue. So
Okay.
you have a bigger sponge back again. So that's
Okay.
what one of the things that it does. And also collagen and zinc and vitamin C. So the vitamin
Mm.
mineral stuff again, right? So those things help, and silica help you build the vaginal tissue back again. So you have blood flow, you've got topical estrogen, which is wonderful. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can use red light therapy. I like the vagina device. It's at vaginadevice.com. It's a red light that goes inside the vagina, and the photobiomodulation stimulates the mitochondria of the vaginal mucosal lining. And what that
Okay.
does is it helps stimulate the thickening of that tissue so that it holds more lubrication. It becomes more lubricated. It also has warmth and vibration, not vibration for an orgasm, but vibration for pelvic toning
Mm-hmm.
and warmth for recollagenation of that internal tissue. All of
Okay.
that helps with incontinence as well as loss of lubrication. But most women also have laxity of their labia and shrinkage, atrophy of the clitoris. And so, what I
Yes, I've heard
recommend
that.
for that is Gaines wave treatment. Gaines wave is an acoustic wave device. It's a
Uh-huh.
wand that is rubbed on the whole vaginal area. So instead of just fixing the internal vaginal structure, now you're working on your pleasure systems as well. Reverses
Okay.
incontinence, reverses labial laxity, reverses clitoral atrophy, reverses vaginal atrophy. It's like the big guns. It's pain free. You do 6 sessions. And when you do that, then it takes about 6 months and you're coming back. All of a sudden, you're coming harder, you're feeling better, you've got better grip, your incontinence urge problems are going away, your vagina's more lubricated. So that's kind of like the minimum requirement is nitric oxide. And let me give your
Okay.
listeners a free bottle. I couldn't do
Okay.
this on Diary of the CEO; it would put me out of business, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you go, I have a special link for shows
Okay.
where I can, send out a couple hundred bottles. Um,
Okay.
get getflowfree.com.
Okay.
Getflowfree.com, and I'll send you a bottle and you can try it. And that way
Okay.
you can see for yourself that it's going to improve your lubrication, your blood flow, your arousal. You'll start to feel more sensation. And it takes about 10 days to start to begin working. And by the first bottle, you'll feel the difference. It's really nice.
Oh,
It helps with
wow.
cognitive
Interesting.
function. It helps with
Uh-huh.
edema. If your rings are tight or your ankles swell or your shoes get tight, it helps with all of that.
Wow.
So
But it is
that's the
true
step.
though that then the clitoris kind of atrophies as we age. Ugh, that's not fun.
Well, think
Oh
about your
well.
grandma. Think about
Yeah.
grandma. She's a little tiny thing now,
Yeah.
right? If she's still alive.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
think about my mom at 88, she's just a little will o' the wisp now.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah, you're
atrophies.
right.
We atrophy as we age, but you can keep
Yeah.
atrophy at bay by working out in the gym. So you get your
Yep.
your muscles strong. You can keep your brain from atrophying by using
Yeah.
it, sleeping, working out, fueling it. and not drinking too much, all those kinds of
Yep.
things. And then you can work on your clitoral structures by taking a nitric oxide booster, getting Gaines wave treatments. There's even vulva pumps that you can use that bring blood back into the labia. One of the things I'm working on right now is there's this new thing that's called Ozempic vagina or something like that. It's basically women who've had rapid weight loss from GLP-1s. Now their labia is kind of flaccid because they've lost the fatty
Oh,
tissue. And so what do you
oh,
do to kind of reconstitute all of that so that it's nice and firm and well engorged? And it's the same
yeah.
exact stuff. It's literally what I just
Oh,
told you. It's no different. It's what
wow.
keeps you plump and juicy and
Yeah.
orgasmic is doing the nitric oxide, the red light therapy, the Gaines wave, and solo pleasuring with your sex toys. Get yourself an air
Okay.
stimulator. Get yourself a. I keep all my favorite sex toys, and they change constantly because it's a very fast-moving industry. There's a
Yep.
lot of innovation. And I keep them at drivedesire.com. I have my favorite
Okay.
female pleasure tools there. So there's all different categories. And the
Are
more,
these
get
on your
one,
website? Dr-
drivedesire.com.
Okay, because I don't have that on my sheet, so I have to put the show notes. Drivedesire.com. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Tara. I just have
Thanks for
one question for
being.
you.
Yeah. Yes, please.
After this whole conversation, can you please tell me maybe your three biggest takeaways or aha moments or something? Like, how would you relay this conversation? You were so prepared when you came to me. And you got through your questions. I was impressed.
Well, one thing I wanted to
You
ask
chewed
you
it
is
up.
that one thing I missed asking you is about the whole thing. Like, why is the man the silver fox or the tequila, hot guy, older man, but then we're known as but you did answer the question in the way that society has kind of made us into these grannies, and it's
Yeah,
our
it's our
job to
job just to take that
change
back.
our
Yeah.
our job to take it back. So you answered the question, but it really annoys me that these men can be the silver fox like George Clooney, but we're just called an older woman. So, but Helen Mirren's become pretty hot lady. So
Oh,
go
yeah,
Helen.
definitely. We're
So
changing
what
it.
I
Our
learned,
generation.
yeah, our generations, what I learned really impacted me is uh, you can give your partner feedback in a very sexy way that won't
That's a good
hurt
one.
his feelings if you
Yeah.
talk about more uh I have a growth mindset, and this would be really sexy if you kissed me this way or that way,
Hmm.
with instead of saying I don't like the way you're kissing me,
Yeah.
can we work on that? That was
Yeah.
really helpful the way you said it.
Cool.
So I'm going to play that back for myself because I
Good.
think you can use that in life in general with everything. I
Great.
also was really intrigued with the idea of lingerie just being kind of a way to tell your partner you're ready to be romantic and sexual without just saying it, just coming in with some lingerie, kind of giving him, because he's always ready, but that may give him the clue, like, let's go. I really
Yep.
love that. And I
Good.
like the idea of just warming up, just taking your time and warming up. And it really hit me when you said, just because he has an erection doesn't mean you have to fulfill his need
That
at that
did hit you.
moment.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's a really good point. Like, you don't have to. You
Hmm.
could just take your time. What's the
Yeah.
rush?
It's not your
So
job.
it's not my job. So, I mean, there
Mm-mm.
were so many things that you said that I'm just going to go back and
Good.
listen to, but
Good.
those are my three big takeaways for me
I love
personally.
those.
And
Thank
also all
you.
the ways that you keep your vagina or your
Yeah.
yoni,
Yeah.
because it's not just your vagina, your yoni youthful, the same way you
Hmm.
would go to, I'm a big gym person. So going to
Yeah.
take my yoni to the gym, basically. So I really
Exactly.
like that, and trying the night
Nitric
oxide,
oxide.
yeah,
Nitric.
that's huge.
Nitric
So I want
oxide.
to dig deep into that. So anyway, it was just such a wealth of information. So
Good.
thank you so much.
Great.
And
Thank you for the
I loved
reflection.
it. Thank you. Okay. Well, have
I'll
a
see you when
wonderful
I'm back
time in
in
Australia.
Marin.
I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Tara.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to Talk with Tara. If you loved today's episode, please follow the show and share it with a friend. Stay tuned. There's so much more to talk about. See you next time.